Going.
All right. Well, my name is Josh Jacoby, and I'm your instructor tonight for the safety discussion on radiation emergency response for public safety awareness. Go ahead. A little bit of my background. I'm currently in an occupational safety and health program at Trinidad State Junior College. I also hold a degree in nuclear technology and radiation protection. And in the past few years, grown a strong passion for safety and protecting the workforce, the public, and the environment, especially regarding this area, which is most all of us that are here know contains many nuclear industries, power plant, the Hanford site, and other nuclear facilities. So the initial primary reason for this session is to make me or give me feedback, and so I can become a better presenter and safety trainer. At the end of this, I will give you a little quiz. There's 4 questions, they're multiple choice, and also an evaluation of this presentation. And I've also provided you with the printout of the PowerPoint, which is a very basic PowerPoint. I'll go through it. I'll probably ad-lib a lot of it. Feel free to take notes on all that. Keep it. Take notes, toss it, whatever you want to do with it. But you can use it on your quiz even if you want at the end of this. And so yeah. So for this specific training session, I based this need for this training on the public's need to be aware of the potential hazards that could exist if there were an emergency with regards to any of the nuclear facilities which are in our area. Again, as I've already discussed, the power plant, Columbia Generating Station, Hanford, and other sites could have potential for disaster or accident of many types, and how you would respond if that were to occur. The training goal is very similar, to increase the public's awareness, your guys' awareness of these hazards, which may be present if there were an emergency to take place, and how to respond. These learning objectives, as you see, there's a lot of words up there. At the end of this, if I do my job and you guys do your job as participants and follow along, I hope that you guys will be able to demonstrate or explain how to respond if a nuclear event happened. Be able to explain to others who aren't here, your loved ones, your family, your friends, a stranger, if something happened, and to identify what types of hazards may be present if an emergency event occurred. These are some of the hazards or risks associated if there was a radiological event, an emergency that occurred. Some of us are more keen to these hazards than others. a lot of words up there again, but I think a lot of us would know that the hazard is radiation, right? And what that can do to us, our bodies, how that could damage us potentially. In this discussion, we're talking about something on the levels of Fukushima, a very serious accident over in Japan that occurred from the tsunami breaking into their power plant. That's right on the coast. Luckily around here we don't have a lot of natural disasters or anything like that. So that's something to be positive about. Also, some of the other risks, obviously, that would happen would be radioactive contamination. This is sometimes referred to as fallout, stuff like that. And the risks and potential health effects that would occur from that. So, one of the things when I grew up, I was involved in the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. Has anyone here been in the Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. All the guys? All the guys. Half the room. All right. Okay, well, what's the motto of the Boy Scouts? Be prepared.
That's right.
All right. That's something that, certain sense of my life, that I've taken way too seriously, and later parts of my life here, I've been able to dump some of those things and simplify my life a little bit. But I still feel like I'm someone who's, tries to be conscious about certain things outside of this topic. Because if you're prepared for something, then you're good to go, right? So that's something that I feel like is very important in life, and especially important in this setting, in this discussion, in this topic. So some of the things that we're going to be going over in slightly further detail is being prepared. If something happened, that you would get inside, stay inside, and stay tuned, which means follow what the news says, the authorities who have a better understanding of what is going on and how serious emergency would occur. And also, I'm just going to tag this in real quick, decontaminate. And we will follow through on that a little further, discuss that a little further in detail. I also have a couple videos for you guys. That will help you grasp those concepts. Natural protection, our skin. Our skin protects us from a lot of things. And one of those things could be radiation, could be radioactive contamination. Another thing is our natural biological processes. Just as we breathe and eat, and we know what happens to those things. We drink something, what happens? Eventually it comes out. We eat something, eventually it comes out. Those are those natural processes that I'm talking about. Number one, and number two. The same thing falls in radiation. These things are some of our natural protection factors. When it says some forms of radiation on the slide here, it's mostly speaking to alpha radiation, which is a deeper subject, but I'm going to touch on those so you guys have at least been exposed to those, that vocabulary. Go ahead. There we go. Types of radiation. Things that we're concerned with. We have alpha, beta, gamma, X-ray, and neutron. Those are the types of radiation that we're concerned with here in this setting. And we could go into further detail on that for the purposes of this discussion. I'm just going to leave it at that. Alpha is one of the types of radiation that your skin or even the layer of your eyeball, could block. So go ahead. Here's a good a graph, a table that I wanted to include to just kind of show you the penetrating power of these different types of radiation. When you're out at the plant or out at Hanford, these are things that are in the minds of the engineers, the radiation protection department, and these are what we're concerned with. So we got the alpha, okay? That's going to be blocked by a single layer of paper, okay? You could also put a little slash skin on that one. Your betas, plastics, betas are going to go through your paper but be stopped by your plastics. In general, gamma rays, X-rays can be shielded by lead, and then your neutrons are shielded by concrete. It gives you 3 feet there. And if you're out, if you ever get the chance to go out there, you'll understand that further. This is kind of a little in-depth on the subject, but again, I kind of wanted to show that as a protection factor, what is kind of utilized to protect the workers out there and stuff from these types of radiation. Types of emergencies. There's a lot of, all these are very serious. The ones that I'm more concerned with this discussion, to keep it more basic, are the ones that are highlighted in Seahawks green. A nuclear blast or a type of reactor accident. As you can see, there's a lot more types up there, and you can feel free to look through that in your documents or as I'm going on here. But for the purposes of this discussion and this project, I am more concerned with something along the lines of something like Fukushima, natural disaster, which led to the catastrophic, release of nuclear material into the environment, into the surrounding areas. So if something happened here, that's what I'm concerned with, because that would be covering all of us, very drastically. So other ones would be a spill, stuff like that. We probably wouldn't be hearing too much of that happening unless it's on a public road or something like that. It would be released to some extent, but those kind of things don't always make the news. But as you can see, those other ones, there's some more serious types of intentional acts on the right there. Go ahead. Notification. This would be for all sites pretty much. There's many procedures and processes in place to protect the public as well as the workers and everyone out there if something major was to occur. As far as Energy Northwest, they have their, as far as Hanford as well, they have their own security, their own on-site health, EMS, stuff like that. And they have procedures over procedures over procedures on how to...
Good evening. The library will close in 30 minutes. If you need assistance with computers, printers, or information, please see our customer service staff. If you need to call for a ride, please do so at this time. Our computers and wireless access will shut down in 20 minutes. Thank you.
Gracias.
But not.
All right. So as you can see, there's a lot of words up there, and I just put that on there for you guys to kind of look in deeper if you like. There's the Benton County Emergency Management Services, there's Franklin County, Grant County, so you got to think of how far Hanford is out there. It covers all those counties. If you're out there within, and I'm not sure of the exact parameters around the plant or Hanford if there was something to occur, but if you're within an emergency zone, which would be like, right now, like you're up on it kind of thing, you'd know there are sirens out there that would go off. If you're out at Rimrock by chance, going out fishing or something, there's a siren out there and it's loud and it'll let you know something's going on, and then it'll tell you what to do as well. We are not in that direct emergency zone, but again, just like Fukushima, that stuff can get dispersed in the atmosphere in other ways, causeways, the water and stuff like that. That's something we heard of, as we're connected by the same ocean, and all that radiation, eventually on some level made its way over here. Everything's connected, and that's something you can't account for. If there was an emergency, this is straight off of Energy Northwest emergency info. You can go on there. They have a lot of information, a lot more information. This is directly off of that, and this says, they tell you straight up right there, if you want an emergency was to take place, you're encouraged to listen to Kona Radio, 610 AM, 105.3 FM, for updates from your local officials. What should I do? What should you do? You might be thinking that. Well, what are some of the basic things that, and we'll go into even further in some of the videos, we'll discuss this, is to get to a safe location. And that's kind of where the get inside comes in. If you're not home, get to the closest building, get inside. Listen to instructions. There will be officials and authorities that will tell you what to do, and it will be everywhere. If something major happened, it would be everywhere. It would be, it'd be on every station, local station, every radio. It would be taken over. And if you thought that you were got exposed to radioactive contamination, you need to decontaminate. And we'll go over that and watch a video as well to cover those. And at the bottom right there says, basically, you may not need to do anything if something happened. I was talking about that emergency zone that's closer to the plant in Hanford. You may not need to do anything. We are pretty far away actually right now, and depending on the weather, you can't really say for sure. But by the time it got over here, it would be diluted, to some extent. So you may not need to do anything. There might be just basic steps. They might just tell you to stay inside. They might tell you to evacuate. They might tell you to just decontaminate. They might tell you to, stay inside. Turn your ventilation off. All sorts of things could be expressed by the local authorities and telling you what to do if a radiation emergency occurred. I think the next slides, these aren't working. These are the videos I'm going to go through to finish the PowerPoint, and it's almost done here as far as the PowerPoint, and we're going to watch those. And actions to take is one, and the next one is decontamination. And which cover these again. And as we've gone over a couple times now, your actions should be this: get inside, stay tuned or informed in any way. TV, radio, social media even, it'll be everywhere. And I would also add to contact people. Some people, it seems like this would be known, right? But if something happened, unless there was a loud boom, right, and everyone heard it, how would you know? Especially with regards to the hazards we've talked about, radioactive contamination. This is something that you might not even be able to see. You really won't see it unless there was an extreme case, and you were close enough. You probably wouldn't. Even then, you would see dust, and you wouldn't know what it was. That's an important point right there. Is that radiation is, invisible. It's not there, and we have equipment to read. Specialized equipment to show us that it's there. But it could be in the form of dust. Just imagine something blowing up or something. You can imagine the dust and debris from that. Well, that dust and debris could be radioactive. But also it could just be there and you don't even know it's there. So get inside, stay tuned, decontaminate, and we'll go and watch those videos. Go ahead. Again, the hazards and risks, exposure to radiation, radioactive contamination, and the risk of the potential biological effect from exposure. And I will be posting this for view for my instructor. You can go on there and check it out. I'll keep it up there for the next couple weeks after I get this all formatted and stuff. I'll be putting the video up there. You can go on, you don't have to view it. You could make additional comments on that, once I submit it. That's how my instructor will be seeing it. And I'm going to put it under the title OSH 246 Final Project. That's the name of this class. And this is my final project. Thank you for being here. Okay? Now I'm going to theoretically get into here just briefly, here's the Benton County Emergency Services website. They are something I hope to become a part of at some point. They do all kinds of emergency stuff, as you see right here, as I'm highlighting. In addition to hazards such as wildfires and floods, BDCEM plans and prepares for emergencies at the Hanford site and Columbia Generating Station, which is our nuclear power generation plant. So I just wanted to show you that there are agencies out there who are planning, training to protect you if something were to happen. And here are the two videos I want to show you. There's a couple other videos that discuss potential effects, health effects. It goes into medical stuff, like they have basically a couple different medications that block specific types of radiation that would be released, like cesium-137, thallium would be released. If you're interested in looking at that, those are on this website. You can just Google search CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control, and Radiation Emergency Response. And you can come up and read those, view those videos.
Accident at a nuclear power plant, a nuclear explosion, or a dirty bomb are examples of radiation emergencies. If a radiation emergency happens nearby, immediately leaving the area may not be the best course of action. Instead, emergency response officials may tell you to get inside the building and take shelter for a period of time. This is called sheltering in place. In this segment, you will learn how to get inside, and stay tuned to protect yourself and your family.
Go. Catch it. Oh, good catch. Good job. Now toss it back to me. Get it in my glove. Good job. All right, here you go, buddy. Look at me. Here's the ball coming. Oh, almost. Get it. You got. That's good though. Good job.
Look at that. I used to love playing ball with my old man. Brings back some great memories.
I'm sure it does, but right now I'm lost. I don't know where I am.
Sorry. It says to take right 2 streets down.
We believe a nuclear explosion has occurred. Get inside a stable building immediately.
There you go. Good job. Good job, buddy. All right, great.
John, no, quick! You need to come inside. There's been an emergency. Quick, come on!
If you are outside during a radiation emergency, or in a car, bus, or other vehicle, get inside a building right away.
There's no way we can get back to the office now.
We need to get into a place immediately, so that looks like a good one. Let's pull up in there.
Okay.
Cars do not provide good protection from radiation outside. The best place to shelter is in a basement or in the middle floors of a brick or concrete multi-story building. If you can get to a basement of a multi-story building within a few minutes, go there. If not, get inside the nearest building. Being inside is safer than being outside.
Oh, looks like there's already some people here.
Good. Maybe they know more about what's going on.
If you have pets that are outside, bring them inside too. Carefully remove your outer layer of clothing before entering the building if you can. Radioactive material can settle on your clothing and your body like dust or mud. By removing your clothing, you are removing harmful radioactive material. If you cannot get inside immediately, cover your mouth and nose with a mask, cloth, or towel to help reduce the amount of radioactive material you breathe. Once you are inside, stay inside. Close and lock all windows and doors. Go to the basement or the middle of the building. Radioactive material settles on the outside of buildings, so the best thing to do is stay as far away from the walls and roof of the building as you can. If possible, turn off fans, air conditioners, and forced air heating units that bring air in from the outside. If there is a fireplace, close the fireplace damper. If you have loved ones in schools, daycares, hospitals, nursing homes, or other places during a radiation emergency, stay where you are.
The
Children
library
and
will close
adults
in
in
15
schools,
minutes. If you need to
daycares,
check out
hospitals,
items, please do
nursing
so at
homes,
this
or
time.
other places
Our
will be
computers,
instructed to
doors,
stay
and exits will shut
inside
down
until
in 5,
emergency responders know that it is safe to evacuate. Institutions like these have emergency plans in place to keep people safe at the facility. Stay tuned once you get inside for updated instructions from emergency response officials. As officials learn more about the emergency, they will be communicating the latest information to the public. Television, radio, and social media are some examples of ways that you may receive information. An emergency radio is important to have for any emergency situation. A battery-powered or hand-crank emergency radio, preferably a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA weather radio, is one of the best ways to stay tuned. If your emergency radio uses batteries, keep extra batteries in your emergency preparedness kit. In a nuclear explosion, an electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, is possible. An EMP is a side effect of a nuclear detonation that produces a surge of energy. This surge can damage electronic devices. Make sure your electronic devices are working. If your electronic devices with batteries are not working, you can try taking the batteries out of the device, putting them back in, and restarting the device as normal. Other devices may only require resetting switches and circuit breakers to work again. Try to use text messages, SMS. Making phone calls could be hard. If you have a computer or web-enabled device that works, use email and social media websites like Facebook and Twitter to get updates.
Remember, in a radiation emergency, one of the best things you can do is get inside, and stay tuned. You can find more information on our website.
Okay, one more on decontamination process. If you're thought you were exposed to any radioactive materials.
If you're outside in an area when a radiation emergency happens, you could be contaminated with radioactive material. Radioactive material can fall from the air and land on people, buildings, roads, cars, and other objects. This is called contamination. Contamination may look like dust or sand, or it may be too small to see. Radioactive contamination can spread in the same way that dust or mud can be tracked into the home or spread to another person or object. It's important to get radioactive contamination off your body as soon as you can to lower your risk of harm. Removing contamination is called decontamination. One of the best ways to decontaminate yourself is to take a shower. If you can't do that, remove your outer layer of clothing and wash your hands and face. Anything you can do to reduce the amount of contamination on your clothes or body will help lower your exposure to radiation. Here are some ways to clean or decontaminate yourself.
Take off your outer layer of clothing. Depending on how you were dressed, taking off your outer layer of clothing can remove most of the contamination. The less skin you have showing, the less contamination you will have on your body. Be very careful in removing your clothing to prevent radioactive dust from shaking loose. Put the clothing in a plastic bag or other sealable container and put the bag in an out-of-the-way place, away from other people and pets. Wash yourself off. If you can take a shower, take a warm shower and gently wash yourself with lots of soap. Do not scald, scrub, or scratch your skin. Your skin helps protect the inside of your body from radioactive material. Wash your hair with shampoo or soap. Do not use conditioner because it will cause radioactive material to stick to your hair. Keep cuts and abrasions covered when washing to keep from getting radioactive material in open wounds. If you cannot take a shower, wash your hands, face, and parts of your body that were uncovered at a sink or faucet. Use soap and plenty of water. If you do not have access to a sink or faucet, use a moist wipe, clean wet cloth, or a damp paper towel to wipe the parts of your body that were uncovered. Pay special attention to your hands and face. Gently blow your nose, wipe your eyelids, eyelashes, and ears with a moist wipe, clean wet cloth, or a damp paper towel. Put the used wipes, cloth, or towel in a plastic bag or other sealable container and place the bag in an out-of-the-way place, away from other people and pets. Tap water sources may be contaminated during a radiation emergency. If the tap water is contaminated, public health officials may recommend that you drink bottled water instead of tap water. You can still use tap water for decontamination. Radioactive material that gets into surface water or groundwater sources will be diluted to very low levels by the water and will be safe to use for washing skin, hair, and clothing. Washing with tap water that may be slightly contaminated is better than not washing at all. Put on clean clothes. Clothes in a closet or drawer are safe to wear. If you do not have clean clothes, take off your outer layer of clothing, shake, or brush off your clothes. You may wish to cover your nose and mouth while you do this to keep from breathing in radioactive material. After you have brushed off your clothes, you can put them back on. Wash yourself first before helping infants, small children, or others who may need assistance. When assisting others, wear waterproof gloves and a dust mask or other material to cover your mouth if you can. Keep cuts and scrapes, both yours and those you are helping, covered when washing to keep radioactive material out of the wound. Wash your hands and face after providing help. If your pet was outside, you may need to wash them off as well. Wash your pet carefully with shampoo or soap and water and rinse completely. Wear waterproof gloves and a dust mask or other material to cover your mouth if you can. Keep cuts and scrapes, both yours and your pet's, covered when washing your pet to keep radioactive material out of the wound. Wash your hands and face after washing your pet.
If you think you may be contaminated with radioactive material, it's important to remove contamination from your clothes and body as soon as possible. Regardless of where you are, you can decontaminate yourself using any of the techniques we just described.
All right. So, what have we learned? We've learned that we need to be prepared. That if an emergency involving radiological release out at the Columbia Generating Station or Hanford or any other nuclear facility that's in our area, we need to be prepared. We need to be aware of those hazards, which a lot of us are, and but just like anything else, the best way we can protect ourselves, which is a primary part of a lot of our lives, is we want our family members to be protected from anything. When you guys drive home tonight, I want you to be safe. I don't want you to get in a wreck. I don't want anyone else to get in a wreck. So, the best way we can prepare for that is to have a good running car with good tires, good brakes, which is what I had to fork out some money for the other day. Yeah. But it's important to be prepared for anything that could occur. And if something were to occur, we would be alerted by our local authorities who are put in place to prescribe the actions that we need to do, we need to take. But some of the simple steps, as you've seen in this video, and as I've laid out for in this presentation, is to, if something happens, if you hear that alarm, is to get inside, stay tuned, and follow those instructions. Obviously, a lot of people will probably just decide to to evacuate and make some decisions on their own. And that's up to them. But if you are here, then follow the instructions of your authorities. And if you think you've been exposed, go through the decontamination processes that I described and the video went over, and it's just as simple as taking a shower.
Thank you for using the
Washing
Kennewick branch of
that
Mid-Columbian
layer of
Libraries. Our
contamination
library
off,
is now closing.
trying
We
to
will
ensure
open
that
again
you don't
tomorrow
get
morning
any,
at 9 o'clock.
that
Please
you
come
don't
back.
inhale any of that or ingest any of that further. That's why they describe blowing your nose, being careful when you're shaking your shirt off, which is why they describe taking your shirt off, because you just think of it as dust. Think of us having a dust storm. You just wash your car, and you get that fresh layer of dust right on it right after, right? Just think of it as dust that is radioactive. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. But those are the processes that we need to do to stay safe, and so we don't get any of those biological effects that we talked about if we were exposed. So, when you hear this, or some other similar sound, and it follows with, we believe there's a radiation or nuclear accident at Hanford or out at the site. Please pay attention for further instructions. And that's it. What do you think you need to do?
Go inside.
Go inside. Stay inside. Decontaminate. You think you're exposed. Right? And what else? Stay tuned. Very right. Very good. You can work on these together. This is kind of my own assessment of how good I did. It's very easy. Little quiz. These your friends, your neighbors, your notes. That'll help me to assess my training further outside of the evaluations that I've also given you. What do you think? Circle 3. What types of hazard or risk could be present if there was a radiation emergency? Just fill it out best you can. No judgment. It's just an assessment to see how I did.
There may be more than one answer for these questions.
Yeah? Alright. Are you done? I didn't make any an extra. Can I use yours as a? All right. All right, we'll just go over this here. What types of hazards or risks could be present? Radiation emergency occurred.
The library is now closed.
What I
We
was
will
looking
open
for
again
here,
tomorrow morning at 9
radiation.
o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Health effects, radioactive contamination.
I got one wrong.
How did you guys get that wrong?
Number 2, what actions should you take?
You gotta try to stay inside, stay tuned.
A, C, and D, right?
Yep.
And if you think you have been exposed to radioactive material, what should you do?
Take a shower.
Take a shower. Decontaminate. And I also added a little bonus one that I didn't mention, contact your health provider. That's my fault, I didn't mention that. It wasn't on there. I think that was last minute add-on.
There is health effects, though, that can determine whether
What,
you've
you
been
know what the
exposed
health
or
effects
not.
are?
Correct.
What about
Like a bloody nose, for instance. Certain things that'll happen health-wise that a provider will notice.
what will happen if you go to the hospital?
And what 4 types of radiation? Alpha, beta,
Gamma,
gamma, neutron. Perfect. Yeah.
So we'll just do this after hours meeting, so you can stay as late as you need. Just have everybody exit that door right there.
All right. Perfect.
We're gonna lock the doors here, and then we're gonna go around.
Okay.
The bathrooms will be available.
Okay.
So you go to the bathrooms and you straight out.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, sir.
Hey, you're very welcome.
All right. Seems like everyone did good on that. And one other thing is that alarm that went off. That was a simulated emergency, right? Now I have
You're
a
gonna
little
hear that,
test.
the radio and the television.
Huh?
You're gonna hear that on the radio and the television.
Right. That, yeah, it'd be broadcast, just like if you guys got an Amber Alert or similar, that's something more, unfortunately, something that we're more used to in hearing over the radio or on TV, and they have the, something like this, I think would be a little more in your face, like, no, really, you need to drop what you're doing and figure this out. But same kind of alert tone, and whoa.
Just saying. You can just turn the projector on.
Kaylee, you wanna get the lights? I'm gonna turn the lights off in just a second. So that little alarm I did was a simulated emergency. The recording isn't gonna see, and I hope that this works out. But we're gonna, I was standing right here, right? And we're just gonna say that the emergency happened right here. That's just an area, just imagine if that's a nuclear facility of some type. You are in this distance, this proximity to that event, right? So, on your safety evaluation forms, if you get those out, put it in front of you. This may or may not work. It does. You'll be like, okay. This is hopefully represents dispersion, right? We talked about the emergency zone, and if you're closer to something, obviously you're more affected by it. Just like fire, you get closer, you feel it, you get close enough, burns you. You get far enough away, you don't feel it at all, right? So the closer you are, the more affected you are. And we could represent this as, North Richland. You could try to think of the actual area and our actual facilities as this table right here being consisting of Hanford and the plant, and you're in this kind of proximity of our area. All right? Dun, dun, dun. Flip the other one.
One will be up, one will be down.
So you got your thing in front of you?
Yeah.
Oh. This is my magic radiation. Whoa. Oh, yeah, you're definitely exposed.
Why did you talk about the germs and stuff or whatever on the table?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25.
Take her to the shower.
You've got a high count there. What do you think she should do?
Shower.
Decontaminate.
Scrub is what they call it.
Thin layer of clothes.
Nobody wants to scrub.
Oh. Yeah, you definitely have some exposure as well. A little less.
You're barely exposed.
You're still getting some, but
Yeah.
you're at a good location.
Where are you guys at?
Oh, you got it pretty good there, dude.
Well, he's at Hanford, so if he doesn't have very much, then we're good, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. Is this yours?
No, that one's not mine.
Oh, you got it too.
Wait, how did you do that?
Exactly. Well, that's just a little fun on a serious subject.
Oh, right.
Little idea I had to try to bring home that point. So I really appreciate you guys being here. The last thing, if you could fill out these safety training evaluation forms. This specifically is a requirement of this presentation and my project. Yeah, it'll also help me, including my quiz that I gave you, to try and evaluate how good at the job I did. Hopefully. And please, it actually requires some, with your participation, if you have something to write, like this was helpful, this could have been more helpful, this was too much information, like write it down. Okay, don't think I'm gonna, oh man, feel bad, or anything like that. Because it's actually a big part.